Welcome to Wednesday Night Insight. Looking forward to having so many different ministers and practitioners express to us in this new year of 2023. And I'm here today to talk to you about self-care for a new year. And when self-care is the foundation of your life, it moves, it has its being, it nestles in to your everyday mind, your everyday body, your everyday life in such a glorious way. And what a wonderful time at the beginning of the year to commit to greater self-care. There's an old Sufi story about a king who's struggling with his kingdom. And so he calls in an advisor, and the advisor can see that the king isn't taking good care of himself. And he tries to explain, King, you are like a fountain, and your kingdom is like the many streams of the fountain. And the king doesn't quite get it. And so the advisor uses a more challenging analogy. He says, King, if you were in the desert and you were dying of thirst, and someone approached you with a glass of water, but in exchange for that glass of water, they wanted half your kingdom, would you give it to them? And the king thought about it for a while, and he reluctantly agreed. And what if, after you drank that water, someone else approached you and said that that water had a poison in it, and that he had the elixir? But in order to give you that elixir, you would have to give him the other half of your kingdom. And the king thought, and again reluctantly agreed that he would say yes. Why is it then, the advisor said, that you put so much on something that is only worth a glass of water and devalue your own self? When it comes to the kingdom of our lives, there are so many different things that we care about and love and value. And yet, if we don't care about ourselves, if we don't value ourselves, if we don't put the time into self-care, our kingdom, the kingdom of our lives, begins to wane and loses its value because we've lost the great commodity that is ourselves. And so self-care is that important. It's the foundation to living a good, fulfilling, happy, and productive life. In getting to work with so many ministers in training and practitioners in training, it's often that I like to say how important it is that God comes first in our lives. And by that I mean time in prayer, time in meditation, time with the sacred, time to cultivate our inner being. And what I try to explain is by putting God first in our lives, that doesn't mean that anyone or anything else that we care about is somehow second or less than that. That the reason we put God first in our lives is so that we can be even more present to our family and people that we love, to our work and things that we have to get done. And it's the same with self-care. By putting your self-care first, you're not making it more important than anyone or anything else. You're just recognizing that it's the foundation for helping all that is important to you get done correctly and well and in a healthy way. And if you were to ask me to define self-care, I would say that self-care is hard-working self-love. That's what self-care is. It's hard-working self-love. It's not easy. It's not about escapism, as I'll talk about in a moment. It's about intentionally caring for your mind, your body, and your soul. It's intentionally plotting out how you're going to take care of your body temple, the kind of food that you're going to put into it, the type of rest that you're going to allow it, the type of space you're going to give yourself to breathe. It's intentionally focusing on feeding things that nurture versus numb your mind. It's focusing on listening to yourself and to life around you. And it's focusing on what is going to nurture your soul, being in nature or in solitude, having fun and engaging in play. All these things that help us to be ourselves and to live our best lives. So self-care is hard-working self-love. And what self-care isn't is escapism. It's not numbing out. It's not vacation. Self-care isn't time off. Now, can vacation or time off be a wonderful opportunity to take great care of yourself? Yes, but in themselves, that's not what self-care is. I like to say that I never want to escape my life for self-care, but I want my life to be an example of daily taking care of myself. And when we get too caught up in wanting to turn off in our lives, of wanting to numb out on that Netflix binge or eat something unhealthy for us, or no longer feel like we have anything that we need to do, this isn't really self-care. This is separating ourselves from our everyday life and doing something very different. So I invite you to begin by asking yourself, what does hardworking self-love look like each and every morning for you? For me, it looks like some time in meditation. It looks like some time in prayer. It looks like some sort of exercise or conscious movement. It looks like some writing when I can get the time. It looks like telling my family that I love them and appreciate them. That's what hardworking self-love looks like for me in the morning. How about for you? And what does hardworking self-love look like in the afternoon? For me this year, I want it to look like some more healthy snacks, intentional eating. I want it to look like keeping some part of the day unscheduled so that I can have a moment of silence or reach out to a good friend and connect. That's what hardworking self-love can look like for me in the afternoon. How about for you? And in the evening, what does self-care, hard-working self-love look like for you? For me, it means if there's a lot on my mind, I might journal about it for a little bit. It means that I'm going to have more rituals that allow me to relax. This past year, I had some trouble resting, and I decided to do something big that I'd never done in my adult life. I bought some pajamas. And so as things start winding down, I now have the ritual of putting on some pajamas to let my body know it's done working for the day. It's a simple thing, but it's an act of intentional, hard-working self-love. Self-care, again, isn't about escaping. It's not about giving up. It's not about taking a vacation from your everyday life. It's about being committed to taking the best care of yourself possible so that you can live a thriving and whole experience. Let's embrace self-care for this new year.
So what an honor it is to be right here, right now, present in this moment, and offering this prayer of wholeness for all of us as a global community. So for anyone who is present here watching at any moment, let's just collect together. Take a moment to go inside and receive this prayer. So it is with sacred awareness that I connect right here, right now, to that infinite power, to the divine in whichever way we assign to that, whether it's the name, whether it's the angel or the fairy, or we recognize that there is that face of that child that reminds us of that divinity. Connecting fully right here, right now, to that which is higher, to that infinite power. I call it sacred wholeness right here, right now. And so in this wholeness, I am a part of it, and everyone is a part of this wholeness, of this natural essence or a divine birthright that is already incarnated as the expression of every soul in this planet. And so therefore, it is in this place of knowing, recognizing, and unifying with this infinite power as wholeness, it is in this state of knowing, fully realizing that I am whole, perfect, and complete. I declare this into being for all of us, for everyone, for any person who is present right here, right now. For all of us, I declare wholeness as the divinity that expresses fully through each action, through each thought, through everywhere in which we interact in the world. I declare that the body of our affairs is one that demonstrates that truth, that we are a whole being, regardless of any appearance. If there's any discord, if there is any illness, if there's any separation, if there is anything that reflects something else that is not of the likeness of wholeness, of unity, of the divine nature, I know that right here, right now, by the power of this prayer, of this word, is eradicated. Because the truth stands alone, and everything that is not of the truth falls away with ease and grace. So I know a healing nature within every person is right here, right now, rising to the top. And in that space, we remember together that we are whole, that we are fulfilled, that we are complete in this moment. And in gratitude for knowing this truth, I just release, trusting and knowing the divine intelligence is reflected exactly as it is meant to be. The truth, the love, and the wholeness that is revealed perfectly and completely in physical form. I release now in gratitude, and I just let it be, and so it is.